What's up, YouTube? It's Louis here. I hope you're all well. You can see Sushi over here in the corner. Hey, Sushi! There you go, the little chihuahua. She's half Japanese chin, doesn't matter. Let's get into the Bitcoin update. It's not looking the best, although the data is proving to us that the bottom is in. We need to see this followed, basically, because as we know, the macro environment is not looking good whatsoever. But that's not telling us the whole picture. You know, just because that's doing one thing, it doesn't necessarily mean that Bitcoin will follow. We've seen this many times in the past. Look at COVID. When COVID happened, everyone thought the world was over. The world was over. There was a lot of shortages in food, and I remember toilet paper as well, in the UK at least. I don't know about where you were in the world, but yeah, no one knew what was going to happen as soon as COVID hit. So yeah, and look what happened afterwards. How much percent from the bottom, from the capitulation to the actual peak? 1,683% gain. So similar thing happening right now. We have, if you've been on the channel long enough, if you remember correctly, this over here, this pattern, shoulder, head, shoulder, double bottom, or a W right there, that breaks above the EMAs, looking like it's bullish, but eventually actually going down, meaning it's bearish. And you can see this final capitulation, which was like 12 red weeks in a row, if you just ignore that green one. And then we also had over here this bearish cross, where this blue line crosses over the orange. So don't worry about that blue line and orange at the moment. We'll get into it. If you've been on the channel for a while, you know that. If not, just wait until after this point. But what I was explaining over here of the shoulder, head, shoulder, W pattern and the final capitulation is what we're seeing over here. And this was a wave 2 correction. Can we see? This is where we peaked out in 2017, the bull market top, and this was our bear market low here around 3k. So this is the low you don't want to lose once we're beginning this bull market. And so you went into a bull market. This was your wave 1 out of Elliott wave theory, and our first correction. This was the COVID crash, where everyone thought the world was over. You didn't even lose the low, basically. So that's very positive, showing us that this was a wave 2 correction. And yeah, the wave 3 impulse being potentially the biggest wave, basically. And there you go, wave 3 right there. Wave 5, which is missing, can be as long as or as short as wave 1 and 3. So wave 3 is usually the longest. It can be as long as that, or it could be as short as wave 1, this one over here, once we've bottomed. So all the data and all the indicators that I have been showing you, which I'll show you again right now with this blue and orange in a EMA bearish cross, I'm going to show you in the past that this is an indicator that has signaled the bottom. So over here, if we zoom in back to the 2018 bear market, we can see when this had crossed over, the capitulation had already happened. But if we go to the 2014 market over here, when that crossover happened over there, the capitulation started to happen. So that's sort of what, not capitulation, sorry guys, the higher low, that is what I mean. So this is the higher low, this was the capitulation over here, and this is the higher low, because this low is higher than that one. So when this crosses over right there, you can see we started to form that higher low, and then we eventually went on. So over here, when that crossed over, it had already happened in this case. And so we're getting the same thing over here where this is crossed. So that is proving that the bottom's in. We also noticed that this correction was the same as this. So this was a correction, in fact, and that's what we need to see going forward. We've shown you on the channel already levels that we do not want to lose. We do not want to lose 10.7k. That is losing this high on the monthly time frame. So on the monthly time frame, go and draw this line. It's the wave 1 high. So of course we have a wick up here, 13.8k. But I've shown you in the past on VeChain, if we go to VeChain quickly, you can see on VeChain, you came lower than the wick there. Can you see the wick over here? If I get rid of this, you can see the wick over here. If I keep it in line, you can see the bodies actually closed lower than that wick. So the bodies can cross over the wicks. You just don't want the body here, this close, you don't want it going below this close over here, the highest body here of the resistance. So going back to Bitcoin now. Oh, I don't know why it's playing out. But yeah, going back to Bitcoin right now, we can see the same thing. You don't want to cross this over. We're not even near this at the moment. So what we need to do is remain holding this. How do we know if we're going to hold this? It's going to give us those heart attack moments, is it? Let's turn on the drawings right now. Let's go to the daily time frame. If you're enjoying this video so far, please smash the like button. And if you're new to the channel, of course, subscribe. Even if you're a returning viewer that hasn't subscribed yet, please help the channel with the algorithm by sharing these videos. Bitcoin is the most important coin out of them all. I don't care if you're not in Bitcoin, I'm not in Bitcoin, but again, this is the only coin that truly matters. So again, what is the level that we need to see held on the daily time frame, well, that is 18.6k, because this was our low right here at 17.6 or 17.7. My apologies, let's just bring that fib back down a bit. 17.5, sorry, 17.5, 17.6. Sorry guys, but once we load out here, we had this impulse where we had this support held over here, and I've explained in the past how this was an impulse down, this was a retracement, and we were meant to actually continue down like this and make a lower low, but you actually didn't, showing you that the bulls were there. So this is the low at all costs we don't want to lose going forward. And you can see we have some sort of ascending support going through point 1, 2, 3 and 4, which I left you guys off with in the last Bitcoin update, and you can see it's actually been holding very nicely, this line. So going forward, remain above this line. You can see you're holding this uptrend by holding this line. Of course, if you're losing it, that's when we are coming to 18.6k. Let's not be a disillusion to that. And of course, if you are losing this 18.6k, then this is when we know the bottom is not in. At the moment it's in, and all the data and indicators that I've shown you today and the past fractals, you know, the wave 2 corrections, it's very similar to the one that's happened now. And so all these indicators, which are data backed statistics, not emotion, statistics, data, they are proving that the bottom is in. But we also know on the back that there's the macroeconomic environment that can affect the market. It can, it's not a death sentence. It's not like 100% it's going to F the market. No, because go back to COVID, go back to March 2020. If you missed that, wow, what an opportunity. And you're obviously going to get that going forward, because look how far away we are from the all-time high. I think it's about 74%. Now, of course, we want the bullish scenario, and if we remain holding this ascending support, we could have chances of actually coming back up, forming some sort of larger double bottom, which I was talking about on this channel since the low. I said we're going to come up to around 27k up here, and once we do, we're going to have this big dip that's 20 to 30%, and all the bears are going to cream themselves. Please tell me you remember this. But the only thing that was wrong was how high it went. We did anticipate we're going to retest the 2021 low to confirm it as resistance, and what that basically would have meant is that we're now going to come down and lose this low and head to lower targets. That's what should happen, because you're basically turning the 2021 low, which was once support, into resistance. So it would have made sense for the bears to step in here and be like, yeah, haha, we actually are bearish. You didn't reclaim it, confirm it as support, meaning that this move was a fake out. You're basically just going to go down and make lower lows and continue your downtrend. But we didn't see that. We didn't actually get all the way up there. But I was saying once we do get up there that we're going to see a 20 to 30% dip. What have we seen just now in the last week or so, couple of weeks? A 22% dip. So 20 to 30%, as exactly as we called, retracing back to this 18.6k low to give everyone a heart attack in thinking, okay, yeah, shit, basically we're going to lose this low. It's going to be the continuation of the bear market. So that, yeah, it's basically wanting to make, yeah, shit yourself. Especially the fact that we never formed a bullish cross in, guys, to be honest, that is absolutely awful. So that is why at all costs right now, if you want to be bullish, you have to hold this low. And if this low just doesn't hold, you cannot be bullish. I'm sorry guys, there is no reason to be bullish in the short term, in the medium term, if we're losing this low. Okay, so there's no point of being 100% exposed to crypto. Remember, from this low I was investing all that money that I sold at, if you remember up here, sorry this is a long video but it has to, so right here 39k, that is where the bear market began once we made this lower low, because on the weekly time frame I was able to tell you guys, now we've made a weekly lower low, a weekly candle that's pierced below that low over there. So I know on the weekly time frame this is not an uptrend in the short term, and this is the weekly, so it's not really short term, is it? Months to years. Okay, so because each candle is 1 week, obviously just 4 weeks is 1 month, so it's going to be a long downtrend. This is why I was like, guys, this is where I'm going to sell 50%, and this is what I put in my chat, which is included with the course and the mentorship. And yeah, this is where we sold 50% and started investing at the 200 EMA as well as down here, because we actually had a technical target down to 17k, and this technical target is what's telling me the bottom is in, because this is not pulled out a bumhole. This is data driven, because I've gone into the history and I've basically placed it on the top right there to the bottom. You can see that lines up exactly because the reason being, I knew that this move was going to be the same as this is because of the patterns. Remember earlier in the video I said there's a shoulder, a head, a shoulder and a W pattern right there that brought us above the EMAs and final capitulation right there. The only difference between this part is that it's looking like this. Over here we got a V-shaped recovery. This is looking like a W double bottom basically, and that's why we need to hold that 18.6k low to basically state, yes, this is not going to be a lower low, this is going to be a higher low, potentially a double bottom. Now we need to come back up to 25k over there and break that neckline, back test its support and start to attack this downward trending trend line over here. And this is where we're going to get another big rejection and probably get an even larger double bottom, and then yeah, that's some sort of descending triangle get as well, which is a bearish pattern. This is the thing with Bitcoin, you're always going to be at a heart attack moment. There's always going to be potential, this could be a bear market, this could be a bear market continuation, the dip might not be done, for example. So yeah, going forward, just keep that in mind. The reason, and then also remembering that we got the patterns target from here, basically stating that the pattern is complete. And when a pattern is complete, you form a pattern most of the time in the opposite direction, and that's why this double bottom is making sense. But again, can't be disillusioned, you have to hold 18.6k right there, that green line, because if you're not, then this is the downside that you have going forward. And this is why I wanted you to go on the monthly time frame to put this green line over here on that wave one high as your wave one high. So on the monthly, see the highs, body candle close, put the line, it should be 10.7k if you're using the Bitstamp chart, which is the Bitcoin chart that you should be using. But yeah, these are your targets going forward, only if you're losing 18.6k, then 17.6, and then you got these three targets. Once you hit them, you're going to get a reaction, you're going to get a bounce if there's good bullish strength. But if the bearish momentum is strong, you could come as deep as the 2 before a retracement. But most of the time, you come to one of these. It could be the first one if the momentum's not strong. Depends on the momentum. It depends on how big this candle is and how far down it pierces through the 1 fib level. So you want to see a big daily candle going through this 1 fib level, and if it's big, then you know, yeah, okay, we've got a lot of momentum. It looks like we're probably going to come down to the 1618. And so what I'm just trying to get at, guys, is once you lose this 1 fib level, your targets are these 3. And once you do hit these 3, you get this reaction. But if this reaction fails to get above this 1 fib level, this is where you could actually go down to these 2 targets. Okay, just simple as that. We're keeping it unbiased here. But for the moment, as long as you're above 18.6k, nothing to worry about. Lose it, a lot to worry about, guys. And yeah, all the data that's been proving in history with 100% accuracy that the bottom is in, it means that it's all out the window, and I literally don't know what to tell you guys afterwards. There would be no point in being in crypto in the short, medium to long term at that moment, because no one knows what's going on, because yeah, the bottom signals are not working when they have worked with 100% accuracy in the past. So this is why we need to see it working, and at the moment we are. Just need to see the bottom, this 18.6k low holding going forward, and it should be good. Lose it and you know what's going to happen next. Open some shorts if you want. Thank you guys, I'll catch you in the next one, and as always, peace.